Hello, everyone. I'm Asdruboi. Welcome back to the ModRaiders Podcast, a podcast made by content creators for the entire world. Today is our episode number 3, and we have as a special guest the lovely and incredible NattyOx. Hi, Natty.
Hello, hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey. So, Natty is an US based streamer, and on top of that, he's passionate about music, not only about the love of the genre or the stage, but also he has done tours nationally, internationally, and over there on the Twitch world. He's also a variety streamer. On top of that, a lovely, comfy vibes person, and also self-described as a mental health awareness channel. So I think it's such an incredible opportunity for me to have this lovely friend. We've already collaborated in the past. We know each other, and we have read each other to filth so much. So what
A
a
little
guest to
bit.
have. But welcome, baby, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Can you can you please show off your mug, your coffee mug? Please, there you go. He was like, I'm gonna get coffee. Give me 30 seconds. I was like, okay, sure. I thought it was gonna be like a little bit of this. No, it's that thing. It's that thing. Like, that is wild.
Listen, I'm quick and efficient, at least when it comes to my coffee making.
That part. So, as we do here on the pod, we also not only like to talk about, what is it that you do as far as streaming and everything of the sort, but also like to talk about the person themselves, like who is NattyOx. So let's bring it back a little bit to your childhood. Can you tell us a little bit about how was your growing up experience like?
How far do we want to go? How deep do we want to go into this?
To the 1800s, baby, when you were born, yes.
Okay, I didn't realize we were reading to filth this early. I don't think I really had that exciting of a childhood. Um, I I grew up in an apartment complex with my mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
my older sister. Um, my parents divorced when I was at a young age, so got to play the travel back and forth between parents. But my sister and I, we had an incredibly strong bond together. We're basically like twins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I moved to the big city when I was, I think, 9 years old from suburb land, and I
Okay.
kind of just stayed there through my childhood.
And do you have like an only sister?
I have you'll understand why I'm laughing. I have an older sister, a younger half sibling,
Mhm.
and 10 step
10?
10 step siblings, yes. Five from my stepmother's side and five from my stepfather's side. They are both no longer step parents
Mm.
of mine, but they've been part of my life for so long that the family, at least, I still consider them to be, step siblings.
Do you still like see each other like around Christmases, or, like the special times and stuff?
No, we talk though. My step brothers all are from the UK and they all live in the UK now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They lived in the States for a little bit, but inevitably moved back.
Also, they were
They're
originally from
all
the UK.
Yes, they're all from the greater London area.
Oh, work. Okay, okay. That's interesting. I mean, I think having that many step siblings, she, obviously you're not gonna meet eye to eye with everyone, but I think the best part about that is that maybe you don't meet eye to eye, but then you have somebody you're like, "Hey, girl, what's up? How's your day going? What's good, mama? What's good?"
100%, 100%.
And also, I feel you on that because I had kind of like the same experience that you did. My parents divorced pretty much literally like the year after I was born. and I have like four step siblings from my father's side. So like I understand the overall issue of dealing with the divorce household and then dealing with
Yup.
the childhood and all that. So yeah, I understand. So you were a U.S. base. Were you there your entire life, or you also went back and forth in different cities or countries even?
Right. No, I have stayed um, within Minnesota my whole life.
Hmm.
Well, besides college, but I went to neighboring state into Wisconsin.
Okay. And
So,
so tell me about this, because you are from Minnesota. You went to Wisconsin to go to college. So, as someone
mhm.
who has not been to the U.S. yet, can you tell me a little bit about the difference between Minnesota and Wisconsin now that you were there in both states?
Yeah, there's I mean the biggest difference is the sports rivalry, which I know nothing about.
Valid. Very valid.
They're both the same. They're both, yeah, I wouldn't say there's really much difference. Oh, well, I guess Wisconsin, I feel like, has a deeper root into agriculture,
Hmm.
and people from Wisconsin are more proud of their agricultural roots, whereas Minnesota, I don't feel like it is. Probably in like the more northern parts of Minnesota, it is, but once again, I lived in the big city.
So fancy, so fancy. And sorry, when you went to college, what did you end up graduating from?
Where?
No, like what did you study? What was your study program?
Oh, what did I study?
Mm-hmm.
So I got my undergraduate degree in vocal performance with a emphasis on conducting and music theory.
A conductor.
Mhm.
Oh, but that means
I guess I'm an international conductor too. I conducted a children's choir in South Korea.
what? Okay, hold on. I gotta dig a little deeper into this. So that means that not only you have the vocal skills, because I've been able to hear your vocal skills, by the way, and they're amazing. But
Thank you.
also, I knew you were a conductor, and not only that, you went to South Korea. Not South Korea. South Korea.
Mhm.
Tell me about this gig, please.
Gosh, I could go into this for a long time. So my international tour was also in South Korea and in Thailand.
Mm.
Um, I had the I was fortunate enough to be accepted into this program. It was basically like an internship to conduct this children's choir. It's World Vision's children's choir. So I got to spend time with the kids. They're phenomenal. Like, you think children's choir and you're like, oh, ha ha ha. No, like they are serious. I handed them music. They had it done. Like they could sight read it perfectly. I think it was in three-part harmony, and yeah, they had it read so perfectly. I was like, okay, so from my lesson, from I now have to skip lesson A to N and move on. It was such an interesting experience culturally and just musically, how much they love and how much time and effort they put into their music, especially even as kids. It was like, oh, I understood they were a professional choir, but I didn't realize at the caliber and level that they were at musically. So I have to tweak myself and I get to grow and stretch myself in a way musically that you don't really get to see in in Western civilization.
Okay, and I think I mean I assume that you kind of went through the same experience when you were a child, correct? Were you ever in a choir yourself?
Ironically, I started as a trumpet player.
Okay, all right.
I was an instrumentalist first before I was a vocalist.
Oh, interesting. So you were in like your marching band, I assume, from high school?
High school is when I actually switched over to choir. I started playing trumpet, I think it was third or fourth grade, and then played it all throughout until end of middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then high school, I jumped fully into choir.
Into Glee Club, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think my first performance as like a singer was fifth grade when um, in the States, I don't know if anyone else, we do track and field, which is just
Uh-huh.
a day of doing exercise, for lack of better words. I thought it would be super cute to, because I remember in elementary school, the fifth graders got to like carry this like torch, like the Olympic torch, because we were getting ready for track and field. It was like our Olympic games. And I was like, I asked my music teacher, can I sing the national anthem? And she was like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. So the national anthem was my first ever performance that I did in fifth grade.
Oh, that's really cute. Now the question is, did it cut you out of the track and field? No. I'll take that as a no.
No.
You still had to run.
Oh yeah, still had to do all the exercise, still had to do everything.
You were like, damn it, I was so close. Oh, that's good. So I think while we were discussing your childhood and your teenage years, is there like a funny story or a favorite memory you have growing up that you can share with us?
A favorite memory. Oh goodness. Mm.
Ask and see the loading screen in your forehead.
Error, error, error. Does not compute.
Please. If you want, I can
Uh,
share one while you think of one, so that way you can see where.
Perfect, go for it.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna say one. When I was a kid, this is a little embarrassing story. So I was a kid. So we ended up like having the birthday parties. So you go to like Halloween parties and doing costumes and stuff like that. So I ended up dressing like a ninja, and then we ended up doing like different. Again, this is back in the old days. I would not dress as a ninja now. And then we were doing like different games, but in my mind, I thought I was in a game show. So what I ended up
Oh
doing was that
no.
I ended up doing the games, and then I yelled at an audience. There's no audience. There's just kids playing, and I'm just going to balloons to a wall, yelling at the camera, just saying like, "Yeah, you see, this is cheating. This is cheating, sir." Like, and people were like, "This guy is weird." I can look back on it, and I'm like, why did I do that? This is my phase when I was like extremely obsessed with like game shows, especially like Venezuelan game shows like Apretigana, La Guerra de los Sexos. So that the whole thing, that was huge, huge back when I was growing up. So I kind of had that visual, like that mentality of like I'm in a game show, like an actual show. I have audience, I have camera, I have everything. So that I embarrass myself. I haven't.
Mine isn't embarrassing.
Okay, that's fun.
I thought of one. You just
Okay.
said favorite. Um, I would say one of my favorite things growing up. So I hinted on we lived in an apartment complex growing up.
Mm-hmm.
There there was a pond area behind the apartment complex that we called the frog pond because there was always an obscenely amount of frogs. I remember as a kid just playing there and just having like the most fun with my friends. And there was a railroad track right behind it. So every once in a
Uh-huh.
while we every once in a while, I mean, yes, I'll say it now. We did play Dodge Train. Um But
Not the pet
on, on,
cemetery moment. My
on
God.
the
Not you being
on
gay.
the other on the other side of this railroad track was
Mm-hmm.
a nature center, and every once in a while we would, we'd be the little kids and say, "Ooh, let's go into the nature center and have some fun." Of course, our parents didn't want us to go past the railroad tracks because, we're young and we need to be in a confined area where parents can easily access us. But, the
Mm-hmm.
times that we would look around and see that no one is looking at us and hop over to the other side, this nature preserve, I think, was really the reason that I started to fall in love, and I find myself at comfort and at ease when I am in nature, and I gravitate towards nature as like a comfort place, and
That's
even now
nice.
in my adulthood.
That's really sweet. So I'm gonna assume because you love nature, I assume you've gone like camping or that kind of thing. Am I correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. As someone who has never done camping, what would you say is like things I need to be on the lookout for?
Ironically, not to like derail completely, you would think I'd hate camping because I not technically, I did live on a campground for 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you'd think I'd hate camping, but I actually love it. Again, that's just nature that I just love.
Yeah.
What to look out for?
Yes.
Um, if it's your first time, I would say stay away from on like paths that aren't you don't if you don't see a clear path, don't walk it because more than likely you're going to find something that you don't want to find. Biggest thing is like poison ivy or itchweed, like things that will irritate your skin. So stay on the beaten path
Mm-hmm.
when you are. I'm talking about like we're like roughnecking it. Like we're not going to some campsite. We are going into the middle of the woods and we are finding a flat plain to set up your tent.
Yeah, you're Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm Heath Ledger. Yes.
Because like that's the way I like to camp. I don't like to find
Like Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath
this.
Ledger.
Well, there are places like there are campgrounds that you can go to that have like a bunch of stalls that you can rent out and set up your
Uh-huh.
tent there. I think that's boring camping. Like you need to go deep into the woods and you need to like hunt for your own food. You need to
Not you
set
being
up your
Bear
own camp.
Grylls. What the?
Just be prepared for any element at any time because you never know what's going to happen at any point in time. Like for prime example, I at one point was camping and I looked at the weather app and it said it was going to be a clear night.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, great, don't need to put the tarp up on top, we're fine. We're gonna just have the open stars. All of a sudden, 3 a.m. comes around and it's pouring rain. So all of a sudden, I have to wake up real fast. I have to grab the tarp and I have to start setting it up before the inside of my tent gets just completely washed out.
Wow. Like, I mean, I think that's also a lesson. Whether the weather says it or not, just do it. It's just a lesson in
The
life.
only thing is, it was summertime, and when you put the tarp out, you don't get air flowing through, so it gets incredibly hot.
Ah, okay, okay, I get your point. Aha. So wait, hold on. If you're setting that up and it's supposed to protect you, then what? You were sleeping full on outside?
No, there's like a net.
Ah, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah,
And you put that on you have the net, you have that exposed, and then if you set that, then you cover it up. Correct?
correct.
There you go. I'm good.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just like fully exposed to the elements. You don't want to. You don't want to get you don't want mosquitoes or bugs coming in. Oh, that's the other thing. Bringing insect repellent.
Hmm. Okay. See, so if I ever get asked out and they're like, "Hey, listen, you want to go camping?" I'll be like, "Yeah, call NattyOx." I'd be like, "Okay, sis, tell me the deets. What do I need to
Right.
buy?" Yeah, I've never done camping. I've never been asked to. I don't know if everyone will, but I might as well be
It's
prepared.
it's it's been a minute. I think it's been 2 years since I've gone camping.
Oh, I mean, maybe when you like recover yourself from the surgery, because Ned's getting a surgery in just a few days. Well, this podcast is gonna come out like way after your surgery. But but at the time of recording, Ned is gonna get a procedure done. He's gonna get giant. No, he's gonna
Ah!
he's gonna do something else that is more like health beneficiary. I'm not. Oh, I'm not saying that if you look at. Anyway, so let me just, let me just yeah, I'm just digging myself deeper and deeper. But like, I mean, maybe after you get recovered, why not go do a little camping to celebrate the fact that you feel better? Why not?
Absolutely, because I mean, it will be close to summertime, but
Yeah, I mean,
when I'm recovered,
something to think about. You don't know.
absolutely.
All right, before we go on break, I'd like to ask you one last question. I see you drink coffee, so let's talk about it. Give me your top three favorite kinds of coffee.
Um, Black coffee,
Mm-hmm.
100% black coffee. I could I could actually name three different types of black coffee that I would love. But I won't get
Oh,
that.
oh, she's
I
fancy. Okay, go
I
ahead.
I love coffee from different countries and different countries and different places. Like each coffee has a different flavor profile to them. I worked in the coffee industry for 6 years, so I also taste tested them. So I can, for the most part, I can sip a coffee and I can tell you where it's from based on the flavor profile of it. Like
Okay.
whether it's like a Colombian coffee, an Ethiopian coffee, um, stuff like that. It yeah, I
Now that's impressive. I mean, you did it for 6 years, so you must have your experience. Yeah, yeah.
right. But so black coffee, I absolutely love. I'm not a super sugary person, so it's like black coffee, an iced americano. But if I do want to, oh, okay, we're gonna go four. Sorry
Okay.
about it. If I do want something like a little bit sweet, I'll get a nitro cold brew, with a little bit of cream and just one pump of caramel.
One
Um,
cup.
no, one pump, like one pump of caramel. Tiny bit of sweetener, just the tiniest bit. Um, the other one is
Uh huh. Carry on.
I'll get from Starbucks an iced caramel macchiato with half of the vanilla flavoring and half of the caramel drizzle, with two extra shots of espresso.
Okay. And the last one. The way I'm so sorry because I think you're saying pump, but it's coming out with the C U, and that's what I'm hearing, and that's why I'm
Stop!
laughing so badly because I'm like, honestly, work, but I don't think that's what you're trying
Good
to
lord!
say. I'm a nice Christian man, I promise.
Pump,
Pump,
pump.
pump, yes, pump, yes, and the last one.
Those were my four.
Oh, you said four? Sorry. I lost you
You're
there.
too busy. Your brain is going elsewhere. You're not counting.
Listen. Well, speaking of listening, we'll be right back to talk about more about NattyOx's streaming moments. That way I can just cleanse my brain. We'll be right back. And we're back with more ModRaiders Podcast. Today, my guest is the lovely NattyOx, who just came back with a number two coffee. Oh, third? The third mug? Okay. Let's just. Okay. Let's just. The way I
I had one
knew.
before. I had one before the podcast.
So before I even called you, you were drinking coffee.
Correct.
Okay. Anyway, let me just continue the interview before you go into a shock. So, so we talked a little bit about Natty's upbringing, all that. Now let's go into Natty's streaming era. So, Natty, let me ask you a question. This is like the question of the podcast. So,
Hmm.
when did you knew streaming was for you?
Huh. I mean, I feel like there's like a double question or a double answer to this one
Okay.
because I I started my streaming career, technically career. I started streaming in in 2018.
Oh, okay.
Streamed for a little bit, then took a break because my laptop had died. Um, Still watched people on Twitch, and I think after a while I stopped just because I wanted to focus on my life IRL
Hmm.
and get, that in order. But something drew me back to Twitch, and after watching for probably a couple months, I said, I kind of want to do this again.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then I started back up, and I've been going ever since I think it was January of 2022.
Okay. And then, so that means that technically, you've been on for, let's see, 2018, 6 years technically, you've been a streamer. Technically, correct?
Technically.
Okay. And
With a very long break in between.
just a little 4 year, just a little presidential tenure. So like, you started streaming in 2018. What did you end up starting with? What was the first game or like category that you picked that day?
Anyone who knows me is not going to be surprised by this.
Is it Final
I
Fantasy?
started with Final Fantasy X.
Oh, 10.
10. Anyone who is watching this and is like NattyOx, they equate NattyOx with Final Fantasy X because I've streamed it, I think, 4 times at this point on my channel.
You are a Final
So
Fantasy
saying
fan.
this is not going to be a surprise.
That's good. That's good. I mean, to be fair, it is like a really good franchise. My personal Final Fantasy game is 12. That's my
Hmm.
favorite one because I think that was just like completely outside the box, different style of gameplay, and I like the characters a lot. So yeah, I think 12 is my favorite. Although I don't know count Final Fantasy Tactics. I think that was a really smart move that they made with that game. Like that was a really good game too. Yeah, yeah.
Agreed.
So let's talk a little bit about your name. Your name is NattyOx. So how did you come up with it? Where did it came from? Can you tell us about your origin of NattyOx?
Yeah, ironically enough, it was a nickname that I got in childhood.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I had that nickname throughout childhood, and it just stuck with me. And then when I went to college, I don't shy about this. I was in a fraternity, and my fraternity nickname ended up being Natty. And then the OX is a play on um, a Greek saying that I have actually tattooed on myself.
Hmm. So like but is it OX or is it like odds, like the animal?
It's technically the Greek letter theta and the Greek letter chi, but I just do ox because when I tried to make my username, it wouldn't let me put Greek letters into it.
Aurelius is shaking. Also, shout out to Aurelius. Thank you again for being in episode one. Yeah, because you're half Greek yourself, correct? Or you have like family
I have
from
Greek
Greece.
origin. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm definitely not half Greek, but yes, I do have
a
I have
lineage.
Greek blood in me. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So obviously you've been doing this for over 6 years, technically, like overall. You're doing it in 6 years. So you've obviously done a lot of streams. You've managed to have a lot of people, lovely mods as well that you have. So I guess a good thing to ask you is, what would you say is like one of the biggest highlights of your streaming career?
Hmm. One of the biggest highlights. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the biggest highlights I would say I was mixing between a few things. So obviously a lot of the charity stuff that I've done has been an absolute highlight because I like to focus on giving back to others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in that same vein, at one point I did a helpathon for my best friend who had her child at 29 weeks, which is extremely early, like
Yes.
3 months early. And there were a lot of bills. She had to stay in the hospital. Her and her child had to stay in the hospital, and there's just debt accumulating. Um, and she wasn't sure how things were going to be, situated. And I, me being the helpful person, I'm like, okay, I don't have, you know, endless money to just give,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to do something, so I set up a helpathon on my channel. I was like, I will match up to, I think it was up to $150 of whoever can, help out, and then whatever else goes up goes up, and we'll give to her. So I had one stream, I think it was like an 8-hour stream or 10-hour stream or something like that, where I did silly stuff.
As one
Of
thing.
course,
As one thing.
incentives.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up raising like something like $600 for her.
Oh, that's great. That is
Hmm.
that's
And
actually fantastic.
oh yeah, she was incredibly grateful. I ended up calling her on stream to deliver the money
I
to her.
remember this. I do remember this.
Yep.
Oh,
It was really heartwarming.
that's great. That's great. And uh, I understand her situation. For instance, my sister, my older sister, she was born 7 months into,
Mm,
yeah. So, and it was very complicated, according to what I can hear from like my own mom and the family and stuff. So, yeah, it's a very tricky situation because one, it's not the entire 9 months, and number two, obviously, situations like that can lead to health issues, complications, not only for the parent but also
mm,
for the baby. So it's all very delicate. So I'm glad that at least you were able to help out in some way in this situation. I think that that speaks highly of not only yourself but also the love that you have towards your friend. That you decided to do all that, so that's very that is very sweet, and I think definitely is a good deed, definitely. Um, and I
absolutely.
hope she's doing well, the baby as well. Um, so, no, you've been obviously more active since 2022, and you always had this incredible moment with your friend, and also the other charity work that you have done in the streaming world. But obviously, when you get into it, you kind of ask different people advice, or you're like, hey, what do you think of this, stuff like that. So I think once you hear enough advice and once you do it, it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of nothing. So I guess my question is, what would you say is like the biggest myth or a lie that you were told when you asked for help about streaming?
Hmm. I think one of the biggest things, excuse me, that I feel like I recall is that in a way, like you have to put on a persona in order to be successful.
Mm.
Like just be depending on the person, of course. Um, but I remember early on in my career, either like watching videos, everyone does that, how to be successful on Twitch. Um, and then obviously asking people, I think a lot of it was just like you have to be very performative and you have to be very like extra and out there to be really engaging with your audience.
Hmm.
And I think that's partially a myth though.
I agree. I agree. Because people can smell fakeness. They can smell it.
100%
They can be like,
from a mile,
oh,
more than a mile away.
yeah. I mean, you can do like a character or stuff like that, but the character still has to be like grounded in reality. Because then
Hmm.
you not only become a character, you turn into a caricature. So that's where the line is. It's very thin, and like for instance, you and I, this is not a knock to people that do it. For instance, we don't do drag, uh, but even then, drag entertainers, they are still themselves, just in the full guiche. So
Right.
if they do it in the full wig, makeup, costume, whatever, then you can do it too. You can be yourself while you
Right. Because
stream.
at the end of the day, too, their personality on screen is still the same personality you're going to get when you meet them in person.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my thing that now that I've learned, it's like who who I am on stream is exactly who you're gonna meet when you meet me in person.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. I will say though, people that are like introverts and then on Twitch find like their voice and everything, and you meet them outside of Twitch, they're still gonna be introverts. So, and if
Hmm.
they are the ones that describe themselves as that, please treat them with respect. I will say, like, because they're already putting themselves out there while they're streaming and everything. So just be mindful of if you end up being a streamer and maybe the streamer is not the one that you see on screen. Then in that case, I will be like, okay, it's understandable. It's understandable because they're not interacting with anyone. There's no people around them, so they can truly be themselves. But now when you put them
Hmm.
in a setting where they are surrounded by other humans, then they might feel that introvert side just coming in. So I would say always be gentle, always be respectful with other streamers, because again, you never know. Uh, to each their own, you know.
Yep.
That's what I would say. Um, Now you came into Twitch in 2018. Who was the person that drew you into Twitch in the first place? Do you remember?
Um, I don't know who initially brought me in, but there was one streamer I was like dedicated to, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Um, that I would just completely like watch all the time. Um, his name is Euros Down. Still streams to this day. I still follow him. I still watch him. Wonderful, wonderful creator. I don't know something. I okay. We'll enter this for a moment.
Okay.
Um, I like to watch streamers who play Final Fantasy X for the first time. When I say like I am addicted to this game, I'm addicted to this game. And seeing people's first time playthrough in their eyes is almost like me experiencing the game again through them. So I love going into the Final Fantasy X category for that reason. And he was in the Final Fantasy X category when I watched him, and I just kind of stuck with him.
Okay. So like, let me ask you this because we're in the topic itself. what would you say is like the biggest highlight from from Final Fantasy X? What would you say is like the thing that keeps drawing you into the game?
I personally love the story. The
Mhm.
story of it, the overarching story, is absolutely beautiful. The graphics, I feel like, yes, while it's, a 2001 game, I feel like it's kind of held its own
Mhm.
in a way. Like it's obviously not, the HD that's in today's um, video game content, but I feel like it's personally held its own. Yes, people like to criticize the voice acting, but again, it was one of the first. I think it was the first Final Fantasy that had voice acting in it.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
there's gonna be bumps and bruises, and it's gonna be awkward. And I think that's what draws to like the beauty of it. There are also kind of, you know some sensitive topics that are talked about it.
Mm.
We talked within the game, and I think there's a lot of like growth and realization through each character that I love.
That's good. That's good. Now, um, I want to try a little new section with you.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
we're gonna call this one change categories. So I'm gonna describe to you a possible category you may encounter on Twitch, and I'm gonna ask you, what would you do if you were in that category? All right?
Oh god.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is special events. What would you say Natty would love to do in a category called special events?
Hmm. There are two things that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that comes to mind is I am broadcasting something like the Nintendo Direct or stuff of that nature, like things that are being announced.
Mm-hmm.
We're having like essentially like a watch party together
Okay.
of watching these new things coming out. Um, Otherwise, I feel like special events could also be. I know I use special events as like an overarching category, like for long streams
Mm-hmm.
that don't have like one general category to them. If
Okay.
I'm playing multiple games, I'll just put special events. Like, it's my birthday, special event.
That's valid, actually. Actually, I've never seen anyone do like birthday streams and put special events. That is technically a special event, technically. So,
Right.
especially Schmucky. Okay, Natty, what would you do if you were in the art category?
Ooh,
Mhm.
which is separate from music. So,
Yes, exactly. Way
um,
different.
I I would probably I'd probably sketch.
Do you know how to draw?
Hmm.
Really?
I do. Not well.
Valid.
My graphite and charcoal are my mediums that I work with. I don't do paint. Like I don't do that.
Charcoal.
Mhm.
What? That's that's old school stuff, Natty. I'm not knocking it. I think it's really interesting. I didn't know you knew of that.
Yeah, I mean I don't really talk about it much because I mean it's something I don't actively do, but if I'm bored and like I'll just grab a sketchbook because I have a mountain of them actually right in front of me behind my monitors, and I'll just take out my charcoal and graphite and just go for it
I'm gonna need to see one of these, like, hopefully soon, because I'm very
one day.
interested. I'm very interested, actually. Um, all right, NattyOx. What would you do if you were picking a horror game? Which one would you pick?
Hmm. I think I would go into the Resident Evil franchise.
Keeping him in the family, okay. Wait,
Yep,
no,
keeping it in the family.
no, because Square Enix is Final Fantasy, Capcom is Resident Evil. I'm so sorry, I mixed those two up badly.
You're good.
Okay, you're a Resident Evil person.
I
Okay.
wouldn't say I'm a Resident Evil person. I've played Resident Evil. I've started some Resident Evils. Have I quit them because I am terrified? Absolutely.
Oh, you ran out of ammo. You're like, screw this.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Run out of ammo, getting attacked by zombies. I was like, nope, this ain't for me. I'm not body hitting and taking a knife and trying to slice them up while getting like my neck bitten. No,
Yep.
we're done.
I feel you. Actually, that's why I ended up quitting Resident Evil 4, the original. I was playing it on PlayStation, and then once I saw it happen, and you know that in the old game, that laser pointer, terrible, just
Not
awful.
it.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I can't do this. I can't relate. Do my nails. Do something else. I can't do this. So I just
Yep.
ended up quitting Resident Evil 4. And finally, NattyOx, what would you do if you were in the food and drink category?
Ooh, bake. 100%.
Okay, tell me. I'm listening.
So I love cooking and I love baking. I love baking a lot more. I think you can spread a lot more joy with baking than you can with cooking. I feel like everyone loves a dessert.
That part. Mm-hmm.
I personally, I love to learn different recipes. So I go on Pinterest or I venture out every once in a while. Like I'll ask a person, like, "What's your favorite dessert?" And they'll tell me what it is. I'll Google it and I'll try to make it.
That is so sweet. No, literally, it's very sweet, but also it's also very sweet.
I don't know. I think people's culture and people's background are so fascinating. Everyone is so unique that it's just like something that comes from like their roots.
Mm.
It just gives a deeper appreciation in my mind.
And that's like also like a great way to connect with others. Like you wouldn't think
Hmm.
so, but actually, food is yes. Obviously, we all eat. Yes, but it's what you eat, who you're eating it with, and the overall environment where you're eating it that also like helps
Hmm.
to connect with others. So I think that's very valid. And also maybe if I end up going to insert state here, you bet your ass I want a baking moment with Mr. NattyOx.
You can have it,
While
absolutely.
we drink coffee and you play the piano. Boom, that's it. That's the day. That's the day.
So I've got to bake and entertain with piano.
Yeah, I'm picky like that.
So
Yes.
bake my things, get it all mixed up while it's cooking, then I can just go on the keys and start.
We have to wait at least 40 minutes for that thing to rise, so might as well.
Fair enough.
Well, that was change category. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, it was
So
fun.
we're gonna take a little break and then we'll be back with the final part of the podcast. All right, we'll be back.
Woohoo.
And we're back with more ModRaiders Podcast. Today I have the lovely NattyOx as my guest. And we've been just chatting away, enjoying our conversation, being unhinged during the breaks. It just yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay, so usually at this last area of the episode, I do a little section called allow or block because yes, we are streamers, but sometimes we have to be our own moderators. So we you know
Mhm.
there are things that happen or situations that happen in the content creation world that maybe we're not comfortable with or we are totally fine with. So I'm gonna give you certain situations, and then you say if you will allow it or will you block it. Okay?
Mhm. Perfect.
Perfect. All right. So the first one is allow or block a lot of lightning in games, as in like flashing lights in games, like plenty of cutscenes are like that. Would you allow it or you block it?
You're talking about like in the game
Yes,
itself,
in the game itself. Mm-hmm.
a lot of flashing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd allow it.
They're like, Mama, I feel like I'm in Berlin nightclub, Mama. Like we're flowing over here. It's a please. Um. Okay, allow or block TwitchCon in San Diego.
Allow.
Because you were in Vegas, correct?
Correct.
I've got a lot of perspectives on it. What is your perspective on TwitchCon in Vegas?
Block.
Yep. That's the feedback I got. It was really that bad. Like I think I asked
TwitchCon
Mochi.
itself wasn't, it was the area.
Yeah, because I asked Mochi when he was in the episode and in his episode, and he described me the city as like a lot of like it was like kind of smelly, and it was
Hmm.
raging hot as well. Which obviously, and then the whole the casino situation, so it ended up like not being like a very like. Again, I've never gone to Vegas. Vegas, don't at me. This is stuff I'm hearing from others. I'm not saying this because of my own opinion. I so far love Vegas, so don't come for me. Just say because I might be back there one day. Uh, okay, so yeah, I've gotten the same feedback as far as TwitchCon in Vegas. Um,
Yep.
Now let's talk about this backseating. Would you allow it or would you block it?
I'm kind of in the middle.
Okay.
If I ask for it, fine. But like, if you're just coming in and you're saying, "Oh, you didn't do this. This needs to be done," no, bye.
Or you find this in this area. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Don't tell me how to play the game. If I have typically, and I feel like a lot of streamers do this, they have like a code word that they
Mm-hmm.
use when they want help. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of a lot of people like, I mean, streamers talk, and we're like, "Oh, I wonder where this is." Just trying to like mentally process it ourselves, and I think a lot of chatters take that moment as a, "Oh, let me tell them," but we're just trying to verbally process like what we are doing.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
I found success into like I can just think of I one streamer in particular likes to say banana when they're ready for a hint. So they'll be in stream and they'll be like banana 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 banana. Where is this?
Okay. Actually like that. Okay. Okay. That's good. When you, for instance, you use like the like no backseating like moment in like in, for instance, your stream title or somewhere that was like don't do it.
Yeah, I typically when I'm doing like a first time playthrough of something, I'll either put like in brackets first, so then it's typically understood that okay, he's doing a first time playthrough. I know there are some people who've come in and they're like, "What's this first mean? Why is that there?" And it's a great opportunity to educate someone because typically, if someone is asking that question, they don't know.
That's
So it
valid.
can broaden their horizon of just saying, "Oh, when people put this in their thing, it means they're doing it as a first time playthrough and they want to experience it themselves without any help."
Hmm. That is true. In particular, I don't mind backseating, but I will be like, let me enjoy. Let me do what I need to do. Let me just. I prefer to finish the story than do the collection of all items. If I do the collection of all items, wonderful. That way I can just ask for help. But in the meantime, I put story first and then maybe 100% in it later. That's If I end up 100% in the first try, hey, or at least 90%, perfect. But that's my decision, you know.
Yep.
So that's the tea, mama.
Or
Also,
I would say, adding on, if I'm struggling in something and someone says, "Hey, there is something nearby that could help you."
yes,
Girl, if I'm like on a boss and I haven't beaten it for like 17, 18 times in a row and you're saying, "Hey, I know there is something that could help you," but tell me.
well, actually, speaking on that, that was going to be my next topic. Soul-like games, allow or block?
Hello.
Oh, really? You like them?
Yeah,
So you do like Elden Ring, that type of stuff?
yeah. I have a current playthrough of Elden Ring that I'm working through.
Oh, I
Hmm.
know you were doing Baldur's Gate. I didn't know you were doing Elden Ring too.
I do have Elden Ring. Baldur's Gate took over Elden Ring, but Elden Ring will come back.
Okay. Yeah, because I've watched a lot of people play Elden Ring, and I'm just like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Oh,
It's
it's maddening.
oh yeah, oh I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Literally the first difficult fight, I will be like, you know what? I need to preserve my peace. I need to preserve my emotions. I cannot do this. So you will. I will say. I won't say never, but I will say it's highly unlikely you will ever see me do a soul-like game. Or if I do, it will
That's
be
fair.
like the one stream, and then that's it. Because I'll just rage quit.
Yep. Yep.
All right, last topic then, so we can move on to the other questions that I have. Allow or block? Partner Plus.
Ooh. Allow, because I'd have it technically in my channel.
You're also working for it.
Hmm.
When I saw the news about the Partner Plus thing, I first did not understand it. I did not get it in the way, shape, or form. I was explaining to it, still couldn't I couldn't explain to you. But now that I see people like how they're doing it and applying it, now I'm like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand, and it actually is, and it is like a way for Twitch to be like giving us what we want, which is like the 50-50, but we have to work for it. That's the other thing. I had to actively work for it. And it
Hmm.
is such also like a great opportunity for people to get that extra coin. Because
Absolutely.
you know what? We deserve that shit. We deserve it. We deserve to
Yeah, we
get
do.
the coin because we put in hours. We put in the effort. We pretty much, and there are people that do like 8, 9, 10 hour streams. Uh, and you know what? They should be able to be benefited from this. And you know, and even then, if you do like 4, 3, 2 hours, you also should be benefited because you're putting in the effort, you're putting in the work. You're actually taking time out of you resting, maybe after like a long day at the office, and come in, sit down, and stream for others. You're doing like an extra effort, so why not be compensated the way you feel like you should be compensated? You know, that's valid. Like, yes, we didn't do this for money, but it's still a business, and we have to think about it as a business too. Um, I don't know if you share that same opinion as I do, because I don't do it for the
No,
money, but it's a great benefit to have.
I completely agree. But also at the same point, like the amount of hours that a streamer puts into getting everything set up.
Hmm.
I could count the amount of hours that I have played and mix it up to keep leveling up my stream. And I know
Yes.
there's so many people that do that too. Yes, we stream, for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many hours, but we also put in plenty of hours, that many, if not more, into setting up our bots and leveling up our bots and leveling up our stream on a constant basis.
Yes. And on top of that, investing into streaming as well.
Ooh, girl.
Girl, because not only do we buy the games, no. We buy the equipments, we buy the drivers, we buy the mics, the headsets. We also have to eventually get some licenses to get some stuff done. And also
Mhm.
invest in the artists that do our emotes and our layouts and the whole thing. So yes, it is also like an investment that, and sometimes even that thing that we earn from Twitch goes directly into the streaming setting itself. Not even to
Yep.
us for streaming again.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, that was the Lower Block. Thank you, Nanny, for playing that section with us. I appreciate it. Okay,
Of course.
so let's talk about your setup. If you can give us like a vague description, you don't have to be like super technical about it, but what do you have in your stream room, like right now? Because you're in your stream room at the moment. So can you share a little about the
Right.
equipment that you have and everything?
Yeah. So technically this is my bedroom. But I don't sleep in this. I fully changed this into a stream room. So I have my monitors here. I have three desks technically, but one desk is used for my 9 to 5.
Oh, you work from home?
But I do work from home.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I literally just swivel my chair this way.
Just this way, and then that's it.
And then yeah, literally my work setup is like I can touch my other desk from here. Um so I have for streaming I have one big desk and a writing desk
Mhm.
that is used to hold other things. It holds one of my lights that is projected. It holds my Switch and my controllers and a couple other miscellaneous things. Of course, you can see my background. I have a few lights behind my screens that are projecting on me, and then just other miscellaneous things kind of hung up on the wall that don't really get incorporated into stream. But and then of course my keyboard.
Okay. How many monitors do you have?
I have three for stream.
Okay, so I assume one is for chat and the other two are for like for gaming purposes and the whole thing, correct?
Yes.
That took you a while.
Sorry, I have my main monitor, which is this one over here. That is for gaming. It's the biggest monitor, so it makes
Mhm.
sense. I've got this one here that holds my camera where OBS is held, and then at my third one kind of has like my Spotify,
Oh, okay.
my Wavelink, and other miscellaneous tabs or things that I might need.
Got it. Okay. So and you use as far as like streaming software, you use OBS, correct? Because that's the one you mentioned.
Correct.
Do you do what I do? Is that I ignore the updates?
Oh yeah, I think I'm still on 28.
I think so too.
I think I'm still on OBS 28.
It's scary to update your streaming software. It's so
Oh, I
scary.
know. When I went from 27 to 28, I did it early where people were experiencing difficulties and everything got wiped.
Really?
Yeah. All of my scenes gone.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Uh-huh.
So I assume
And this was at the
you wasted like an entire
yeah,
day setting everything up again.
yep. Yeah, when everything gets wiped. Oh my gosh, it takes a whole day to get it all reset.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I
I won't
hope.
even mention the time that I wiped my computer and didn't back up any files and had to redo my bot. We're not going to mention that part. We're not going to talk about that part, but know that I have done a lot of things to keep streaming.
Although I will say, I don't know if you do this, but I would love to like get my PC checked. Like I think like an annual checkup, I think would be nice. Like, if you need to, and I don't know if this happens to you, but my storage in my PC is starting to go little by little by little by little. No matter how many games I uninstall, I feel like I'm not uninstalling enough. So it's just
I have not gotten to that point yet. I knew from the beginning I needed to get like hefty, hefty
mm,
storage, so I did.
valid. That's valid. Now you have your lovely emotes that I think they're very adorable. You have your own layouts and everything. Did you make them? Who made your emotes and the overall artwork of your streaming?
So I have two separate emote artists. Um, One person was a friend who has never done commissioned art before, and I said, if you're going to do this for me, I'm going to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but I don't know how many prices. I said, I don't care. Value your time,
That part.
value the effort, give me a number, and I will pay it. Like, as an artist myself, like you
Pay
need to
your
value your time.
artists. Pay your artists.
Pay your artists.
Yes. Yes. And and
Um,
th- and you ha- and you now you have new emotes as well because you have now mixed up with the old ones and new ones. So who made your new ones?
I'm so sorry. I'm blanking on their name. I'm an awful person. But I found them through other streamer friends. They spoke very highly of them. They I went on their Twitter, found their commission link, looked at all of their emotes. Like they've done emotes for quite a few streamers
Mm.
that I know, and I love their work.
No, they're
It's like
very
done.
beautiful. But sorry, because you used to have like emotes that like kind of were you in a way
Hmm.
that was the old ones, but the new ones are like an animal or something. Where that character came from? Is it like an original creation or does it come from somewhere? Oh, ah, that's so cute.
It's called a Moogle. They're part of the Final Fantasy franchise.
Uh,
Once again, going back to Final Fantasy.
and we circle back, Mama. We circle back.
It's a good circle back moment.
Bury that. Um, Now, when you decided to play, obviously you play Final Fantasy a lot, so I assume that's the kind of genre that you gravitate towards. So, what would you say are like some of the other games that you played around the Final Fantasy S type of games that you've done that you like?
What even? I mean, yes, I would categorize myself as Final Fantasy, but I very much put myself in the variety category because I
Mm.
want to expand my knowledge of other games. Of course, I've stuck with a lot of RPGs, JRPGs kind of realm, but I mean, Baldur's Gate has been one that's kind of just been kind of taking me out ish of the realm. Of course, stuff like Elden Ring has branched out, going into the horror genre of doing Resident Evil. I don't know. I want to mix it up a little bit.
Mm.
Pun intended, I guess. Um, and there was one game that I played the other day. It was Islands of Insight, where it's
Mhm.
just a puzzle game. It's just figuring out different types of puzzles, and they get more and more complex. Because I love brain teasers.
Okay. So like Sudokus, stuff. Like I assume you
Hmm.
are like a fan of it.
Ironically enough, my sister and I played, or we did a Sudoku. It was called CalcDo. It's a calculus-based Sudoku. Yep, I won't go into it.
How does that work?
It does. It just does. Just don't question it.
Do you have to like
My
do
sister and I
math or
are
what?
math. Yes, yes.
Oh, well, okay.
We're math nerds.
Oh god. Oh gosh. Well, Natty, this is the last question. So when we stream, we take our time, we do a lot of gaming, we do a chatty moment. Usually for us in the streaming world, we like to eventually rate out to someone. So if you
Mhm.
had to rate out to someone today, who would it be and why?
Who would it be and why? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're on. They're on. And you're like,
They're on right now.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh. God, there's so many people.
I know.
I only get to pick one.
I'll give you two. How about that? You
Oh,
regret the
thank
raid and then
God.
you raid to the other person.
You regret the raid? No, there's no regretting. That's gonna sound bad. Two different streams.
Two different streams. Yes, exactly. You do one in the morning, the one in the afternoon. So there are two different streams.
There you go. Split day.
Yes.
Um, it's gracious. The first one that's gonna come up, wouldn't surprise you. It would be Aurelius. Aurelius would be one of them.
A lovely half Greek,
Why?
half French human.
Right, our lovely half Greek, half French AJ Aurelius Adonis Halar.
Okay. And who will be
Yeah,
your second one?
I absolutely love him.
Yes.
Of course, of course, we're both Greeks, so there's that to begin with. But he he's very wholesome and just has such a good positive energy around him that anyone who comes in feels very welcomed,
I can agree.
and I really like that about him.
I can agree. Also, go check out episode one of with Aurelius if you haven't. It's really good.
Good plug.
Mama, you gotta think of the future.
I see you. I see you.
All right, who will be the second streamer then? The afternoon
Oh
stream.
God,
The
now
afternoon
I'm
raid.
thinking of like 7 other people.
But you
You're
pick
not
one.
making this easy. Pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so hard.
I've been told. I mean, what? Just
Okay. We are close to the end. You couldn't make it to the end? Jeepers. Afternoon streamer, afternoon raid.
yes.
I would probably gravitate towards Sam the Ferocious,
The lovely Sammy.
the lovely Sam. He he inspires me on a daily basis, not just as a streamer, but just as a person. He he is so calm most of the time. We saw a little chaotic side this morning, but that's
That's the Mario
we
Kart.
all have our chaotic moments. But there's just there's just an aura about him that he he really like personifies happiness and just I don't know. It's so hard to put to words what Sam is. He's very wholesome and very kind and considerate and will lift you up whenever you're feeling down.
I agree.
So I I would want people to be able to experience that.
Also, I would say Sam, who I've already asked to be part of the podcast. hey, I might as well take advantage. He was talking about
Right.
it. But I will say also, Sammy is like has such a calming energy that when you go into the channel, it's not like over the topness. It's not, no. He's literally the way you see him is the way he is. He
Mm-hmm.
is centered. He is focused. He can really know how to let you make you like let your guard down and just
Mm-hmm.
vibe. And that's a great quality to have in a streamer. And I appreciate Sammy very very much. So I like your choices. I like your choices. Even though I didn't have to give you a second one, but I still gave it to you. See, that's being
Oh,
what
girl, I could read out to like
15
several
others.
people.
Yeah, same,
Right.
same.
There's so many wholesome people and so many lovely people on this platform that, of course, you know, it would be just an exceptional experience to read out to them too.
I agree. I agree.
Y'all know who you are.
Well, Natty, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you so much. We have done a collab stream together in the past, and I had such a great time. It was so chaotic. It was also one of the most shadiest streams I've ever done in my entire streaming career because we were at each other's throats almost the entire time.
Yep. But we were also laughing the whole
Oh,
time.
we were having a ball. Uh, and I also like appreciate the way that you yourself are, even though you don't think about it as such, you are incredibly talented. You are such a kind human, and I adore you oh so fucking much. Like I cannot even begin to speak highly of you. We've had great conversations, and we've been able to really bond in a good way. I hopefully be able to see you at TwitchCon this year. If not, then I don't know how the hell I'm gonna see you, but you bet your ass I'm gonna see you. Uh, and also, my love, if you can, please do let us know where we can find you, both in social media and on the streaming world.
Yeah, of course, my social media is complicated. Twitch, you can find me at twitch.tv/NattyOx. Um, Typically, you can search NattyOx in any other platform and you'll find me there, except my Twitter, which is OxNatty, because someone stole NattyOx and I don't want to talk about that part.
I understand pain. Understand the pain.
Uh, but you can find me Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
The whole thing, the whole shebang.
all things.
Wonderful. And you can also find me at Asdruboi in all social media. Thank God I was lucky to get all of them. And on Twitch, I stream at least 3 to 4 times a week. How many days do you stream usually, Natty?
4 times a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
There you go. I usually am live on Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you want to go check out this lovely human, go check me out as well. And I will be seeing and hearing you all in a very next episode. Until then, I'm Astro Boy. This was the ModRaiders Podcast. Goodbye. Chao, mis amores. We did it!